Hello and welcome to the Darby Creek Diaries. I'm Gail Thompson. If you happen to hear chewing in the background, it's my dogs. I don't want to oversimplify the ink issue, but I thought I would pare it down a little bit and discuss the basic black inks. And these are not anywhere near all the inks available. It's just you only need so many inks, and so I'm just going to show you what I have, and I think that'll be a good sampling. Now, even within the dye inks, you'll see in a minute, they break down into different types. But today we're going to use the Ranger Archival ink, Altenew Crisp ink, Gina K's new Amalgam ink, Memento Tuxedo black ink, and Ranger's Distress ink. In the interest of saving time, I went ahead and made the chart. And I wanted to show you that the Altenew Crisp Black now comes in a permanent. And since dye inks are quick drying and they soak into the paper, if you ever need to emboss something black, the easiest thing to do is have it in a stamp positioner and just redo your black and then restamp it with a VersaMark on top and use clear embossing powder. And it's the same as if you would have used pigment ink. So that's just a little tip. Now we're going to go in and I'm going to add water. Now this also includes the glitter pens. And the Altenew, sorry about the smudgy little paw prints, but the Altenew doesn't seem to fare too bad. The Memento, well, that looks pretty good too. I kind of expected that to be that way. Then the Ranger Archival is supposed to be permanent once it's dry. And the next one is the Gina K. And I don't see any smearing there. Now, as expected, since distress inks are water reactive, you really don't want to try to watercolor over them. And I also put the ages of my stamp pads because some of them are got some years on them. And here's a close-up. So basically the one that you would want to avoid the most would be the distress. And it looks to me like the Memento Tuxedo Black maybe isn't the best at that. So now I'm going to run a Copic marker over it and we'll see if there's any black smearing. And it looks so far like those are Copic friendly, or any alcohol ink. And I think the Ranger's doing pretty well. And the Gina K. And I'm doing all this on 80-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock to keep everything even. And this distress ink doesn't even look awful on that. But look at the back of your package too. Because I'm trying to be scientific, but it's not perfect. Now here's the Gamsol. Gamsol is what you use to kind of smooth out any pencil drawings that you do with your colored pencils. People use it with their Prismacolors. Instead of having kind of those lines, this smooths it out and really makes it look almost like a painting. Now, I keep the bottle closed. I normally knock it over at least once. This is a brand new bottle. You don't want to be smelling that if you can help it at all because it's not good for you. I'm sure in a little exposure it's not bad. Now the Gamsol doesn't seem to be smearing the Altenew Jet Black. We're going into the Memento Tuxedo Black. Looks like there might be a little bit of smearing there. I'm looking at this on my monitor. The Ranger Archival seems to be holding up pretty well. Some of that you see is just the Gamsol on the paper and it just kind of soaks in and it leaves kind of it. And then we've got the Distress ink, which isn't really doing it now. We've got a little bit of smearing there. So the other thing, the permanency, it looks like most of them you can either heat set. The only one that really is not permanent would be your distress ink. And they have a glaze. Ranger has a glaze that you can put on that to make it so it's permanent. So there are the results of our dye inks. Oh, and the porous, none of them really, they either don't work on non-porous or you do need to heat set them. And now we're going to go on to the pigment inks. Oh, before I forget, I'm having a drawing for a coffee lover stamp set and some sayings. And so check out the information at the end of this video. Pigment inks are the VersaFine Onyx Black, which has been in my crafty arsenal forever. VersaFine Clair Nocturne, which is new, and the Distress Oxide. And then a random thing is I put the StazOn solvent ink on this just because I had space and just because I could. And I've meant to tell you that these inks sit up on top of the paper and they look a little crisper generally. And it looks like the Onyx Black is holding up water well as the Nocturne Clair. Now the Distress Oxide, of course, we knew wasn't going to hold up to the water. And then the solvent ink, I wouldn't use that on paper, and there really wouldn't be any reason to have it be water reactive, but I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned StazOn because it is a great part of your crafting arsenal. And now we're going to go over it the same with the Copics. Yeah, the black ink is really a staple of, you can't do any stamping without black ink, embossing powder, and a VersaFine, a VersaMark watermark pad. So it looks like just the Ranger didn't do well, and I don't know, it stays on being a solvent. It looks like it might have run a little bit. And then we've got Gamsol, and it looks like the VersaFine Onyx Black hangs up. And you know, the VersaFine Onyx Black has been a staple in my arsenal for 20 years probably. I just got this Nocturne pad and I kind of like it. I think it's going to be good. It may not be great with Gamsol. Then there's the Ranger, the Distress Oxide, which is going to smear no matter what hits it. But get out that micro glaze. And then on the StazOn, and then I'm going to have all of this information over at my blog and all the pictures so that you'll see all the charts. All of them are embossable, of course, except for the StazOn. And I'm trying to get up close. You know, my little paw print isn't probably the best choice, but that smearing, that corners are just from the corner of the stamp. The only one that works on non-porous is the StazOn, and you do want to keep the lid tight on that. It is a fabulous ink for glass or, you know, vellum or any of that. So here are the inks again that I have. And like I said, there are dozens other great inks. It's just I don't need them all. And I, you know, really wasn't going to order them all. I'm kind of ordering them as they get old. So the Memento Tuxedo Black has always been one of my favorites. Now for the drawing. How do you like your coffee? Put it down in the comments below and you'll be entered in for drawing for this little stamp set by Not Too Shabby. The drawing will close on January 20th. And you don't have to subscribe to enter, but I sure appreciate it and like. And I'm going to put a couple more videos up that I think might interest you. I hope that you got some information out of this video and that you'll share it and that you enjoyed it and that you'll come back and see me and have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.